Hi guys, James here from 5-Star Rating 22. Alright, here's the third and final part to the Dark Eldar Reaver painting tutorial. Hope this has been helpful so far to you guys, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to think about it. So, I just wanted to show you something here. This is just silver, and I wanted to show that if you wanted to, you could go one step farther with the brass highlighting and just catch like the very corners of it with some silver. If you wanted to have a little bit crisper or a little bit brighter pop to it, you could do that. Alright, so I'm mixing these two colors here, 1:1. That's the 1:P that you see in the caption there, and that means one part of each. And I mixed those up, and those are actually the first highlight color for all the green parts, or the kind of greenish blue armor parts. So I'm going around the armor on the driver here. Actually, I went around like the knee pads, the back parts, around the helmet, and I'm just doing pretty much lining it in about the width of the brush. Anything that's smaller than that, do it a little bit smaller if I can. Otherwise, just do that the whole part that's smaller of it. Now I'm getting onto the hull of the vehicle here, of the Reaver, and I'm going to go around the whole thing, lining in between armor plating, edging around any holes or anything like that. Again, about the width of the paintbrush, as you can see there. And doing it in nice thin coats like usual, thinned out, trying to keep it as smooth as possible. And if there's anything you're going to take a whole bunch of time on during painting during painting one of these, I would highly suggest the armor. Take your time on that. Put an extra highlight color in there or something, due to the fact that that's going to be the most predominant thing. And since it's the brightest color on my models, I want that to be the it's going to be what, when a person looks at your miniature, it's going to be the first thing they see or notice. So I try to make sure that I get that just right. You can see here I'm going around the what's holding the bane blades on the vehicle here, edging those as well. Again, just taking your time, nice thin coats, try to keep it as smooth as possible, no brush strokes. Alright, so you can kind of see there about the width of it. And again, guys, if at any time you need to see something longer or anything like that, you can pause the video, and that'll certainly help out. And now I'm mixing these two colors for the second highlight, and again, these are one part of each, as you can see, and it kind of comes out as a kind of like a snot green. With a blue, more of a blue hue to it. So now I'm going back doing the exact same things that I did before, except for just thinner. You can see I was working on the hand there, like the shoulder part, and then on the glove there's a hard part to the top of the glove, so align that in as well. Now I'm still using the same brush. I'm using more of the side of it, trying to catch the edges of the green, gonna be the green armor here, and just taking my time, and on spots where I can't use the side of the brush, just making sure that I'm using the very tip of the brush with minimal amount of paint on the brush actually. And remember, guys, to get a best view, I do suggest putting this in full screen and on HD, since the camera view is a little bit farther away. Make it a little bit bigger, so you can get a little bit closer look at it. So there you go. That's with the second highlight. Again, with this one, I go over pretty much everything, just around the edges, leaving some of that prior highlight that we just did. But you can see there the helmet, the backpack, around the knee pads, and stuff like that. So a couple little gems on the front there. And again, just being careful, take my time. Now I'm getting back onto the Reaver, and going to go and do the exact same thing as I just did on the rider. And let's go back through and just do now the line highlighting around all the pieces. And again, doing everything with this highlight, this second highlight here. I am doing pretty much catching every edge and in between every plating and stuff like that still. So the final highlight will be more of kind of the most predominant, and just kind of picking a few select spots out to do the final highlight color with. So again, just going around using the side of the brush when I can. And you can see there, trying to keep it smooth, and it's starting to come alive here a little bit, starting to pop. Don't forget to get like the sides and stuff too, because they do have width to them. So and that will be visible on the table at a little distance. So by getting those, you'll help make sure that your miniature looks uniform, and it's not unless you're trying to save a bunch of time. That's how you get models done quicker, is you cut out steps. So but like I said before, with this army, I am trying to do it a little bit better. So and then using this mixture here too, I actually did the base coat for the screens, for like the main screen right in front of the rider, and then there's a pop-up screen that's on the front hull there. It's kind of hard to see, like it's partially popping up. I did it so it's just coming up, and I'm actually going to do some OSL, some object source lighting on that, and hopefully it turns out well. So here's the next mixture. Again, this is one part of each of all of these, and this is the last and final highlight to the armor. So you can kind of see the color there. It's almost like kind of a teal. It looks a little bit weird on the camera here, but yeah, it's kind of a teal. I did do it a little bit darker than Games Workshop did theirs. Theirs looked a little bit brighter. Well, actually, some of their miniatures looked more brighter and some looked less. I chose to go with a little bit darker by lessening this last highlight. By making it a little darker, it should give the armor an overall darker appearance. And again, with this highlight, I'm selecting more predominant areas, the corner of armor pieces, and just some select spots. Trying to make the most out of it. Just going over the previous highlight, but not over all of it, leaving still some of that second highlight as well, as you can see there. Going around the splinter rifle that actually sits on the bottom, there's the hand going around that casing that's on the top of the glove that the rider's wearing. Nice and thin, catching corners and stuff. And here now, actually right onto the Reaver. And again, just the more predominant areas, corners of connecting the armor, like you see there, and some edging and stuff. So just kind of selecting. Try to make it uniform though. If you select to highlight the side farthest away, kind of keep that uniform. So it looks like your light source is coming from at least a certain angle. Helps out for me, at least, as you can kind of see there, choosing which side highlight. And again, pause it at any time if you need to get a better look, but there will be pictures and a video at the end as well. Now I'm going to start doing the highlighting for the black pieces of armor and the black pieces of metal. So I'm just doing like Games Workshop, I see on their picture, it looks like it's just a single highlight, just a nice sharp line highlight, or edge highlight. That's how I decided to do that as well. And I know it looks a little bit bright and a little bit wide, but I'm actually going to use a technique that I use after I get all this stuff lined in to help blend it in a little bit better and thin it out, make it look a little bit more crisp, and dull it a bit so it's not so poppy. So you've seen on the glove there, on like the finger parts, there's a little part that comes out from the hard casing, so that was done or highlighted with some of this gray. And then on the, I don't know, I guess you'd call it on the Reaver here, like the main body of the vehicle, actually the way Games Workshop did it, that was all black plated or black colored, so that's all getting a highlight. Just again making sure to keep it uniform. Take your time if you need to, but make sure that your lines are even and straight. That's a big key to doing black highlights or black armor. Make sure that it's smooth, consistent, even. Don't have jagged looking lines or anything like that. And this technique that I'm going to show you will actually help with that as well. Help tie it together. Make sure that the lines look more uniform and stuff. So I'm going to take this wash here, and I'm actually going to do it over all the black parts that I did, not just over the highlighted edges and stuff, but the whole thing to make sure that it looks even all around, because this is actually going to help shade some of that stuff too and give it a nice black tone, since it's actually not a black. That's the base coat that I sprayed on originally, and it's got a greenish blue hue to it. So by doing this black wash over this black armor as well, that'll help darken it, shade it, and keep it looking black, and especially now with the gray highlights, it'll turn out really well. So, and I'm doing kind of a dry wash, kind of painting it on a bit, moving it around so it does cover up some of the highlight areas, or it goes over, it doesn't seep into all the recesses, so it does have a chance to kind of dull those down a bit and uniform them. Alright, so now one part of each of these, and I'm going to do the fingers, or the skin tone, and you could use this really on anything. So for this first mix that I made up here, I'm actually going over the whole fingers except for the crevices and recesses, leaving those with the darker shade, but going over all the fingers there, and then I'm going to actually take and add another drop of the Ghost Gray here, and that'll lighten it up a bit. Now I'm going to hit the 3 knuckles on all your fingers. If you look at your finger joints, you have like the top knuckle, and then you have your middle knuckle, and then kind of one towards your fingernail, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just hitting those knuckle spots, giving that highlight since the hand is curved. That helps bring some definition to it. I know it's rather small and hard to see, but go ahead and pause it if you need to, and you can get a little better look. But yeah, it helps bring some realism to the hand there. Now I'm taking and going to do the leather parts, give them their highlight. Now this is again going to be another single color highlighted area, since there's not that much of it and most of the stuff's very thin. And it also looked like Games Workshop did the same thing, just kind of a single high definition or high transition and shade. The leather brown's pretty light in comparison to how it is, so taking a nice small brush and just going around all the edge on the belt, the leather belt that he's got, and then there was also a little part of the leather, like the strap on the pistol case as well. So now we get to do, this is probably my favorite parts, is getting to make some bright stuff. I'm taking the green here, and I'm going to do the chemical injectors. I like to think of them as the drug injectors, since they do have combat drugs. Going over like the piping here, and also I did do the base coat, and this was done in that the second armor highlight color as well, that kind of snot green. That was I base coated all the piping in that as well. So I just went over now with this scorpion green, just over kind of the top, leaving some of the recesses in that base coat color, and then also doing the screens here now, brightening them up a bit. The screens, and then the 5 buttons on the front there, making sure to try to swipe in one direction, keep it nice and smooth, but leave some of the previous base coat looking through to kind of give it a glowing effect to it. I am only going to do object source lighting on the screen that's popping up. It's kind of hard, but what I do in here is I did it the scorpion green. I went in there in between and just did it in the scorpion green. Then I added some water, and what I'm doing now is going to come out from the light. You know, kind of imagine in your head what spots it would hit, how bright is your light, and kind of closer to the main light source is going to be brighter, some more whites and stuff, and then the farther it gets away, the more of the base color that's going to shine through, or the more of the base color it's going to dull down, kind of, get towards more of the scorpion greens. So, the first I put that scorpion green, I took it, I wetted it down, I pulled it back as far as I want my object source lighting to go, and then and then I'll go over top of that. And then I also went over the chemical injector tubing again with this. I added 1 drop of dead white to it, and just went like a line right over the top. Now I'm going to edge the screens here with this mix, with the extra drop of white added to brighten it up a bit. So I went ahead now, and I'm edging around the screens, and then doing like the bottom half of the buttons that are smaller, just hitting them about 50%. Just to kind of give them some illumination look to them. So, but I'm not really going to have any object source lighting to the main screens there, the buttons. Just the one that's just coming up. Like maybe that one's lit because it's in a back set area. It'd be a little bit darker. So I'm trying to sneak some of that color in there, and then wet it down again and pull it out. Kind of drag it out from the source. And kind of like nice thin little lines, as you can see there. Pause it if you need to, and then just pulling it out, just imagining where it would hit. And then you can see there, adding another drop of the white. And now I'm going to do just 2 dots pretty much in the pipe, where it starts and where it ends. leaving some of the previous color there just to give it a little bit more of a highlight. And then I'm edging again around the computer screen, this time a little bit thinner, just kind of on the corners and stuff. And then I'm actually going to use this color as well to add a couple dots to make it kind of look like radar or sensor for the main little screen there. And then for the object source lighting, I'm going to pretty much now, I'm just going to do the inside screen and then the very edge of like the first corner that the light would hit, because again you want the main screen or where the light's coming from to be the brightest. Making sure that that's white down in there. I know it's hard to see down in there. I couldn't really even get a view in there, but you can kind of see the effect there, and with the pictures you'll be able to see it a little better as well. So now we're going to start doing the kind of the tribal symboling that goes on the Kabal, the Blackheart's vehicles, the Dark Elder vehicles. So I just mix that out, thin that out nice and thin, and now what I'm doing here is I'm gonna scribe it in nice and thin. Just do kind of the basic shape that I want the tribal to be in. So I'm just using the side of the brush where it's on edge, and then anytime it comes out, just a nice thin line, and then you see that's it there. So I just did kind of the outline, and now I'm going to go back and thicken it up, and just take it slow. Make sure you got your hands in a nice steady spot. Don't hover them up or anything like I was doing. Keep it nice and stable. And then you just thickened up like you seen there. That's you just keep adding to it until you get it as thick as you want, and to the type you want. I did that same to the other side as well. Lined it out and then thickened it up. Now I'm taking and I'm going to actually add a little bit of highlight to it. Not much on this because I don't want it to look too fancy. I want it to look like they painted this on with paint, themselves. I don't want to give it a really too much definition and stuff, so I want it to look like tribal painting. So I'm just kind of doing like in between the armor plating and along the some of the edges, following with the same type of highlighting I did for the armor. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I really had a blast making this. Right after this message here, some music will start up, and then you guys can go through picks. There's quite a few of them, but it's nice, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Take care. Leave me any questions you have in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, like, and favorites. Later.